What if I told you that a single 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark, a coin that millions of Americans have held in their hands, could be worth not just 25 cents, not even a few dollars, but in rare cases, thousands of dollars? Imagine finding one in an old coin jar, a forgotten piggy bank, or a family collection, only to discover that collectors are willing to pay an astonishing premium for the right example. Sounds unbelievable. Yet it has happened before, and it continues to happen today. The year 1965 changed American coinage forever. It marked one of the biggest turning points in U.S. minting history, and that change created a coin that millions overlooked, but collectors never forgot. Hidden among billions of ordinary quarters are a few extraordinary examples that have become prized treasures because of their condition, striking quality, rare eras, and unique history. So before you spend another quarter, watch this video until the very end, because you might learn how to identify a valuable 1965 Washington quarter hiding in plain sight. Some details are so small that most people miss them completely, yet those tiny differences can mean the difference between 25 cents and a life-changing payday. Let's begin. In 1965, the United States was facing a nationwide coin shortage. Rising silver prices encouraged people to hoard silver coins, especially quarters minted before 1965, which contained 90% silver. As millions of silver coins disappeared from circulation, the U.S. Mint had to make a dramatic decision. Beginning in 1965, the traditional silver Washington quarter was replaced with a copper-nickel-clad composition. This was the first circulating Washington quarter that no longer contained silver. Another major change shocked collectors. The Mint temporarily removed mint marks from circulating coins between 1965 and 1967. Officials believed this would discourage collectors from hoarding coins from specific mints. That means every normal 1965 Washington quarter was struck without a mint mark, regardless of whether it was produced in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Because of this unusual policy, millions of people today wonder whether their no-mint mark 1965 quarter is rare. The answer is both yes and no. Most examples are common, but certain pieces are incredibly valuable due to exceptional preservation, striking errors, or unique characteristics. The obverse features George Washington facing left, with the word Liberty above his head and the date 1965 below. The motto, "In God We Trust," appears on the left side. On the reverse, an eagle spreads its wings while clutching arrows and olive branches, symbolizing military strength and peace. Surrounding the eagle are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, while EPLUBUS UNUM appears above. The coin weighs approximately 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter. Unlike earlier silver quarters, this coin consists of outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. If you look carefully at the edge, you can usually see a reddish-orange copper stripe. The copper edge is one of the easiest ways to distinguish a normal clad quarter from older silver examples. Although more than 1.8 billion Washington quarters were produced in 1965, very few survive in pristine condition. Most entered circulation immediately and experienced decades of wear, scratches, and damage. Coins that remain virtually flawless today are surprisingly scarce. Condition is one of the biggest factors affecting value. A heavily worn example is usually worth only face value. A lightly circulated piece with attractive surfaces might sell for a small premium. However, coins certified in mint state by professional grading companies can increase dramatically in value. Collectors pay close attention to grades such as MS63, MS65, MS66, MS67, and even MS68. Each increase in grade represents a significant improvement in preservation. Tiny contact marks, weak strikes, and surface imperfections can dramatically reduce value. An ordinary mint state 1965 quarter might be worth a modest amount, but a superb gem with exceptional eye appeal can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Registry set collectors compete fiercely for the highest quality known examples, pushing auction prices higher. One characteristic that attracts experienced collectors is a sharp strike. During 1965, the mint worked under tremendous pressure to produce billions of coins quickly. As a result, many quarters display weakly struck details. Coins with crisp hairlines, sharp lettering, and fully defined eagle feathers are much more desirable. Another feature to watch for is original mint luster. A coin that still displays bright cartwheel luster across both sides is significantly more attractive than one with dull or cleaned surfaces. Cleaning often leaves fine scratches and reduces collector value substantially. Never polish or clean an old coin. Many beginners mistakenly believe that making a coin shiny increases its worth. In reality, cleaning usually destroys the natural surface that collectors value most. Even an expensive coin can lose a large percentage of its value after improper cleaning. Now let's discuss one of the most exciting aspects of collecting, the possibility of mint errors. Error coins occur when something goes wrong during production. These mistakes are genuine mint-made varieties and often become highly collectible. One famous error is the doubled die. This occurs when design elements appear doubled because of imperfections in the die used to strike the coin. On some coins, doubling may appear in the date, lettering, or other design elements. Genuine doubled dies are different from machine doubling, which usually carries much less value. Another desirable error is an off-center strike. When the blank planchet is not properly aligned during striking, part of the design is missing while a blank crescent remains. The more dramatic the off-center strike, while still showing the date, the more valuable it may become. Broad strike errors occur when the retaining collar fails to hold the coin during striking. The resulting coin appears wider than normal with distorted edges. Clipped planchets are another interesting error. These occur when the metal blank is improperly cut before striking, leaving a curved or straight missing section. Die cracks, cud errors, retained die breaks, and die chips also attract collectors, particularly when they are large and visually dramatic. Some quarters may also exhibit lamination errors caused by imperfections in the metal strip before striking. These appear as peeling or lifting layers of metal and can add collector interest. Among the rarest possibilities are transitional or wrong planchet errors. While extremely uncommon, a 1965 quarter struck on an incorrect metal blank can become one of the most valuable modern US coins. These spectacular mint mistakes have sold for impressive amounts at major auctions. Authentication becomes especially important when dealing with high-value errors. Many unusual-looking coins result from damage occurring after they left the mint. Experienced collectors rely on professional grading services to confirm authenticity before paying premium prices. Professional grading companies examine authenticity, assign condition grades, encapsulate coins in tamper-resistant holders, and provide confidence for buyers and sellers alike. Certified coins often command stronger prices because collectors know exactly what they are purchasing. Storage also plays a major role in preserving value. Coins should be handled only by their edges. Fingerprints contain oils that can permanently damage surfaces. Protective holders, capsules, or archival quality flips help prevent scratches and environmental damage. Many people wonder where valuable 1965 quarters are still being found. Surprisingly, discoveries continue to occur in inherited collections, estate sales, bank rolls, dealer junk boxes, antique stores, and even ordinary pocket change. Coin roll hunting has become a popular hobby. Collectors obtain rolls of quarters from banks and carefully inspect every coin for dates, errors, and exceptional condition. Although most searches reveal only common coins, persistence occasionally rewards dedicated hunters with remarkable finds. Estate collections represent another exciting opportunity. Families often inherit jars or albums assembled decades earlier, sometimes containing overlooked treasures that remained untouched for generations. One reason high-grade 1965 quarters remain valuable is simple survival. Although billions were produced, relatively few escaped circulation immediately after issue. Even fewer were stored properly for decades. As time passes, pristine examples become increasingly difficult to locate. Auction records demonstrate just how much collectors value exceptional quality. While ordinary circulated examples remain inexpensive, certified top population coins with extraordinary preservation have realized prices reaching several $1,000s in competitive bidding. This highlights an important lesson in coin collecting. Rarity is not determined solely by mintage. Condition rarity can be equally important. A common coin in extraordinary condition may be far rarer than a traditionally scarce coin in average condition. Collectors also appreciate attractive tunning. Over many years, natural storage conditions can create beautiful shades of blue, gold, violet, and amber across a coin's surface. Naturally toned coins with vibrant colors sometimes bring significant premiums, while artificially toned pieces are much less desirable. When examining your own 1965 quarter, begin with the basics. Verify the date carefully. Confirm that no mint mark appears, which is normal for this year. Inspect the edge for the copper stripe, indicating the standard clad composition. Look for sharp details, original luster, unusual errors, or outstanding preservation. Using a quality magnifying glass can reveal tiny features invisible to the naked eye. Good lighting is equally important when searching for doubling, die cracks, or surface quality. If you believe you've found an unusual example, resist the temptation to clean it. Instead, compare it with reliable reference materials and consider professional evaluation if the coin appears exceptional. Patience is one of the greatest strengths in coin collecting. Many successful collectors spend years searching before discovering an important rarity. Every roll searched and every collection examined increases the chance of finding something extraordinary. Beyond monetary value, the 1965 Washington quarter represents an important chapter in American history. It symbolizes the nation's transition away from circulating silver coinage and reflects the economic pressures of the mid-1960s. Every example tells part of that fascinating story. Today, interest in modern collectible coins continues to grow. New collectors enter the hobby every year, increasing demand for high-quality examples and remarkable mint errors. As supplies of pristine coins remain limited, exceptional pieces continue attracting serious attention. So the next time you receive change at a grocery store, gas station, or restaurant, don't dismiss that ordinary-looking quarter too quickly. Take a closer look. The date, condition, strike, and even tiny production mistakes could reveal something far more valuable than its face value. Thousands of collectors search daily for the finest 1965 Washington quarters, yet many remarkable coins are still waiting to be discovered. Your next great find could already be sitting in a drawer, hiding inside an old family coin collection, or resting quietly in a forgotten jar of change. Sometimes history isn't locked away inside museums. Sometimes it fits in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this fascinating journey into the world of the 1965 Washington quarter with no mint mark, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next treasure hunting adventure. Every week we uncover rare coins, valuable errors, hidden varieties, and incredible auction stories that could help you recognize a fortune hiding in everyday pocket change. Thank you for watching, and remember, always check your coins before you spend them. Your next quarter could be the one collectors have been searching for all along. Have you ever imagined that a dirty, scratched, ordinary-looking quarter hiding in your pocket, old coin jar, or forgotten drawer could secretly be worth not just 25 cents, not even a few dollars, but hundreds, thousands, or in extremely rare cases, even tens of thousands of dollars? What if I told you that one of the most overlooked American coins, the 1982 Washington quarter with the Philadelphia P mint mark, has surprised collectors with incredible values because of rare mint errors, outstanding condition, and hidden features that most people never notice. Before you spend another quarter at a vending machine or toss one into your change jar, stay with me until the very end of this video. You are about to discover the fascinating history, the rare varieties, the valuable mint errors, grading secrets, and the real market values of the 1982 Washington quarter with the P mint mark. One tiny detail could completely change the value of your coin. Let's begin. The story of the 1982 Washington quarter starts during a difficult period for the United States Mint. In 1982, the Mint faced budget reductions and operational challenges that affected production and quality control. As a result, many coins struck during this year show weaker details, poor luster, and lower overall quality compared to earlier years. Because of these conditions, finding a beautifully preserved 1982 P Washington quarter today is far more difficult than many collectors realize. The Washington quarter itself has a long and respected history. It was first introduced in 1932 to celebrate the 200th birthday of President George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the coin quickly became one of America's most recognizable circulating coins. By 1982, millions of Americans handled these quarters every day without realizing that some examples would one day become highly collectible. The Philadelphia Mint produced more than 500 million Washington quarters in 1982. At first glance, this large mintage suggests the coin should be common and inexpensive. And for ordinary circulated examples, that is true. Most heavily worn 1982 P quarters are still worth only face value. However, that is only part of the story. The real excitement begins when collectors discover coins preserved in exceptional condition or those displaying rare mint errors. Condition is everything. Professional grading companies use the mint state grading scale from MS-60 to MS-70. A worn coin that has circulated for decades may only be worth 25 cents. But an uncirculated coin with brilliant mint luster, sharp details, and almost perfect surfaces can suddenly become worth dozens, hundreds, or even thousands of dollars. This dramatic increase in value surprises many new collectors. One reason is that relatively few 1982 P quarters were carefully saved when they were released. Unlike earlier years, the United States Mint did not issue official uncirculated mint sets in 1982. This simple historical fact has made high-grade examples much scarcer than many people expect. Collectors searching for superb coins often spend years looking for outstanding specimens. Now let's discuss one of the biggest reasons these coins attract attention. Mint errors. A mint error occurs when something unexpected happens during the manufacturing process. Instead of reducing value, certain mint errors can increase it dramatically. One of the most popular is the off-center strike. This happens when the blank planchet is not perfectly positioned between the dies. Part of the design is missing, while the remaining design is struck normally. Depending on the amount of the off-center strike and whether the date remains visible, collectors may pay hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Another exciting error is the double strike. In this case, the coin receives more than one strike from the dies. The second strike may appear rotated, shifted, or overlapping the first image. These dramatic errors are instantly recognizable and are highly desirable among collectors. Next comes the broad strike error. Normally, a retaining collar keeps the coin at its correct diameter during striking. If the collar fails, the coin spreads outward. The finished coin appears larger with no raised rim. Authentic broad strike quarters often command strong premiums. Collectors also search for clipped planchet errors. Before striking, blank coin discs are punched from large metal sheets. Occasionally, one blank overlaps another, leaving a curved section missing. When struck, this missing area becomes a distinctive clip. Natural curved clips are popular and can significantly increase a coin's value. Another fascinating error is the die crack. After thousands of strikes, coin dies begin to wear. Small cracks develop and transfer raised lines onto coins. Minor die cracks are common. Large, dramatic die cracks are much more collectible. Some become famous among specialists. Even more dramatic are retained cuds. When a piece of the die breaks away completely, a large raised blob appears on the finished coin. These unusual errors immediately attract experienced collectors. Now let's talk about double dies. Many beginners confuse machine doubling with a genuine double die. A true double die originates during die creation itself. Letters, numbers, and design elements show clear separation under magnification. Authentic double die varieties are considerably scarcer than ordinary doubling and often sell for impressive premiums. Another error worth checking is a rotated die. Normally, the front and back of a US coin align perfectly. If turning the coin vertically reveals the reverse design rotated significantly, you may have a valuable rotated die error. Some examples have sold for hundreds of dollars. Collectors also look carefully for strike-through errors. Sometimes grease, cloth fibers, wire, or other foreign material becomes trapped between the die and planchet. The resulting coin displays unusual missing details or strange impressions. Every strike-through error is unique. Now let's examine the design. The obverse features George Washington facing left. Around the rim appears Liberty. Above Washington's head is In God We Trust. The date 1982 appears below. To the right of the ribbon is the small P mint mark, indicating production at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse stands a majestic eagle with outstretched wings, resting on a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches. Above the eagle appears United States of America. Below is the denomination $quarter. Across the top is the national motto EPLURBUSUNUM. When examining your coin, use bright lighting and at least a 10x magnifying glass. Look carefully for unusual doubling, die cracks, missing details, off-center strikes, clips, unusual coloration, or other abnormalities. Never clean your coin. This is one of the biggest mistakes beginners make. Cleaning creates tiny scratches that permanently damage the original surfaces. Even gentle polishing can reduce collector value dramatically. Professional collectors prefer naturally toned coins over cleaned examples. If you believe your coin is valuable, store it in a protective holder. Avoid touching the surfaces with your fingers. Hold the coin only by its edges. Natural skin oils can eventually damage the finish. Now let's discuss today's market values. An average circulated 1982 P Washington quarter generally remains worth only 25 cents. A lightly circulated example may bring around $1 to $3 if it has attractive eye appeal. A brilliant uncirculated example often sells for $10 to $50 depending on quality. Coins graded MS-65 may reach $50 to $100. MS-66 specimens frequently sell for several $100s. At MS-67, prices may climb into the thousands. The finest certified examples have achieved auction prices reaching several $1,000s because of their extreme rarity in superb condition. Now consider error coins. Minor die cracks may sell for $25 to $100. Off-center strikes often range from $100 to well over $1,000. Broad strikes frequently sell for several $100s. Rotated dies may command hundreds depending on rotation. Major double dies can reach impressive values. Large retained cuds, dramatic strike-throughs, and spectacular double strikes often become auction highlights. Some exceptional mint errors have sold for several $1,000s. Of course, every coin is unique. Value depends on rarity, condition, eye appeal, certification, and collector demand at the time of sale. If you believe you've found something unusual, consider submitting your coin to a respected professional grading service. Authentication protects both buyers and sellers while establishing an accurate market value. Many collectors dream of discovering valuable coins through pocket change. Although extremely valuable examples are rare, they are still occasionally found in circulation, estate collections, old bank rolls, inherited coin albums, and forgotten jars of loose change. That possibility is exactly what keeps millions of collectors searching every single day. Every handful of quarters carries the excitement of possibility. Perhaps the next coin you examine will reveal an unusual mint error. Perhaps it will be a nearly flawless mint state survivor. Or perhaps it will simply deepen your appreciation for American coinage and its fascinating history. Remember, patience is one of the greatest tools in coin collecting. Experienced collectors often examine thousands of coins before discovering one truly exceptional piece. Knowledge, careful observation, and persistence are far more valuable than luck alone. The 1982 Washington quarter with the P mint mark reminds us that extraordinary treasures sometimes hide in the most ordinary places. What appears to be just another quarter could become the centerpiece of a collection or a surprisingly valuable discovery. So before you spend your next quarter, take a closer look. Inspect the date. Check the mint mark. Look for unusual errors. Examine the condition carefully. That simple habit could one day lead you to an exciting and valuable find. If you enjoyed this video and love discovering rare and valuable American coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next treasure hunting adventure. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy coin collecting, and may your next Washington quarter be worth far more than 25 cents. What if I told you that one ordinary-looking 1972 Washington quarter could be worth hundreds, thousands, or even tens of thousands of dollars under the right circumstances? Imagine finding one hiding inside your pocket change, an old coin jar, or a forgotten collection passed down through your family. Most people spend these coins every day without realizing that a few rare examples have become some of the most exciting modern coins sought after by collectors. Today's story is about one of America's most overlooked coins, the 1972 Washington quarter. While millions were made, a handful have shocked the coin-collecting world with impressive auction prices because of their condition, rarity, minting quality, and extraordinary errors. Before you spend another quarter, stay with me until the end, because the final coin and the rare errors we'll discuss could completely change the way you look at your spare change forever. If you love rare coins, valuable pocket change, hidden treasures, and fascinating coin history, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications, because we regularly explore coins that could be worth far more than their face value. Now let's discover why the 1972 Washington quarter deserves a second look. The Washington quarter series began in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Originally intended as a one-year commemorative coin, it became so popular that it replaced the standing Liberty quarter permanently. Since then, billions of Washington quarters have circulated across America, becoming one of the country's most recognizable coins. The 1972 Washington quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark located on the obverse just above the date. During 1972, the Denver Mint produced more than 350 million quarters, making this coin very common in circulation. Because of this enormous production, most examples remain worth only face value if heavily worn. However, collectors know an important truth. A common coin can become extremely valuable if it survives in exceptional condition or if it possesses a rare mint era. The obverse features the left-facing portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. Around the portrait are the words "Liberty, in God we trust," and the date 1972 with the Denver mint mark. The reverse displays the majestic heraldic eagle with spread wings, clutching arrows and olive branches. Above the eagle appears United States of America, while EPLURBUSUNUM rests above its head and $quarter curves below. The coin is composed of a copper core sandwiched between outer layers of copper nickel. It weighs approximately 5.67 grams, measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, and features a reeded edge. Although these specifications seem ordinary, collectors carefully examine every detail because tiny differences can dramatically increase value. Condition is one of the biggest factors affecting the value of any 1972 Washington quarter. A heavily circulated coin with scratches, worn details, and dull surfaces generally remains worth only 25 cents. A lightly circulated example with stronger details may sell for $1 to $5. An attractive uncirculated specimen showing original mint luster can command $10 to $50, depending on its preservation. High-grade mint state coins become increasingly scarce. Coins certified as MS-66 often sell for impressive premiums because relatively few survive without noticeable marks. When collectors reach MS-67 and higher, prices rise dramatically. Some certified examples have sold for hundreds or even several $1,000s because nearly flawless coins from large production years are surprisingly difficult to locate. Many people assume old automatically means valuable. In reality, rarity and condition determine value far more than age. The 1972 D quarter teaches this lesson perfectly. Millions were produced, but only a tiny percentage escaped circulation without acquiring bag marks, scratches, or contact damage. Immediately after striking, newly minted coins were thrown into large storage bins where they constantly collided with one another. Even before leaving the mint, many coins received small nicks that prevented them from achieving the highest grades decades later. This explains why superb gem examples are genuinely scarce. Now let's discuss something that excites collectors even more than high grades: mint errors. Error coins are fascinating because they represent mistakes made during production. These mistakes escaped the mint and entered circulation, creating unique collectibles that often command impressive prices. One of the most desirable errors is the doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the working die receives multiple slightly misaligned impressions during manufacture, causing noticeable doubling on parts of the design. Collectors inspect the lettering, date, Washington's profile, and inscriptions using magnification. Strong doubling can dramatically increase value depending on its visibility and rarity. Another exciting possibility is an off-center strike. An off-center quarter results when the blank planchet isn't properly positioned beneath the dies before striking. Part of the design may be missing, while the remaining details appear normal. The value depends largely on how far off-center the strike is and whether the date remains visible. Coins struck 5 to 15% off-center often bring attractive premiums, while dramatic examples showing 50% or more missing design can sell for much higher amounts. Another collectible mistake is the clipped planchet. Before striking, coin blanks are punched from large metal strips. Sometimes the punches overlap, leaving a curved section missing from the blank. When struck, the finished coin displays a distinctive crescent-shaped clip. Authentic clipped planchet errors are eagerly collected because they are easy to recognize and relatively uncommon. Next comes the fascinating broadstrike error. A broad strike occurs when the retaining collar fails during striking. Without the collar, the metal expands outward beyond its normal diameter. The coin lacks its standard raised rim and appears wider than a regular quarter. Collectors appreciate broad strikes because they clearly demonstrate how coins are manufactured. Die cracks also attract attention. As production continues, tremendous striking pressure eventually causes dies to crack. These cracks appear on coins as raised lines across the design. Minor die cracks